Hi there, Simon from simonwoods.com. Now, if you had a vineyard in one of the nicest places in the world, where it was good and lovely and warm, and you had 80-year-old Grenache vines, what would you do with it? A leading question. I've got 4 pink wines in front of me, and even though it's February and it's bucketing down with rain outside, my heart today, and certainly the stuff I'm going to put in my glass, is from Provence. And 4 Provençal rosés, all from the same domain, which is called Château d'Esclans, or depending on who you speak to, it might be Château d'Esclans. Sometimes they do a hard S, sometimes they don't, and it's very confusing. Just use one of them and use it with confidence. Château d'Esclans has been around for donkey's years. There's a lovely old chateau there, and there are these 80-year-old vines. But the owner is a guy called Sacaha Lichine. Sacaha Lichine's dad was Alexis Lichine, and I think he was born in Moscow, ended up in the States and then in Bordeaux, and he owned Château Lichine, and I think he had part ownership of Château Lascombe in Margaux. Died about 1989, and Alexis, his son, he was in Bordeaux for a bit, and then he sold to Prieuré Lichine, I think, 99, and he's got a bit here, does a bit of wine there, makes some stuff under his own label, and then I think in about 2001 he decided, well, I want to make the best rosé in the world, so that's his goal with these wines. He does 4 of them. They're not all 80-year-old vineyards. First one here, Whispering Angel. I think this is the only one that doesn't get any oak treatment. This is purely vinified stainless steel. I think it gets the ripest grapes from the property. I usually have a problem with Provence rosés. They're very pretty and they taste nice in situ, but you take them out and you lose the Grace Kelly roads and the Grace Kelly looking women, and they don't quite taste the same as a February morning in Dobcross. Well, this smells like it's got a bit of poke, a bit of punch to it. Smells good. Tasty. Apple, blackcurrant. Yes, it's got this, it's strange. I think the blend for all of these is pretty much Grenache and a little bit of Roll or Vermentino, but I think this first one's got some other things in, like Sanso, a bit of Syrah, I think even a bit of Mourvèdre. What it doesn't have, there's a grape that they have in Provence called Tiverin, which is responsible for quite a lot of Provence rosés, and I always think of that wines made with that grape as having this sandy character. The strange thing is, I don't think there's any Tiverin in here, but I'm getting some of that sandy, earthy character. But it's quite a nice, rich, weighty wine. Weighty is a strange word to use for rosé, but as rosé goes, this is on the fuller-bodied style. You're still getting the freshness. You're still getting that flavours from both the white wine spectrum, things like the apples, and the red wine spectrum, so blackcurrants, blackberries. Tasty, nice introduction. Bring on the bouillabaisse, I think. Let's try the next one. This is just called Éclans or Esclans. And I think this gets a little bit of barrel fermentation, but maybe 30%, something like that. But yes, I think these last 3 are all Grenache with a dollop of Roll. Well, the barrel influence here is very subtle. What it seems to be adding, there seems to be an extra layer of soft, creamy character. I was going to say I can smell the texture, but I'm certainly pretty sure I'm going to be able to taste something that is really, a bit softer, a bit rounder, maybe not as fresh and bouncy, but maybe a bit more serious. Let's see. Well, I've never blended Puy Fuissé with Côtes de Rhône, but something there that really reminds me of that. The Puy Fuissé bit is this creamy, nutty, hazelnutty, almost Chardonnay type of richness, but with acidity and minerality giving it a framework. And then the Côtes de Rhône's adding warm red fruit and spice and heart and, yes, something a little bit more relaxed and wild. Really nice wine. But next time I have a bottle of each of those on the table, maybe I'll try and blend this wine. I don't think it'll be as successful as this. I have to say, this isn't the first time I've tasted this set of wines. I was at the property a few months ago, and I was all ready to dislike the concept, because if someone wants to make the best rosé in the world, it's a bit like somebody wanting to make the best Müller-Thurgau in the world, or somebody wanting to make the best Pop-Tarts in the world. But And the prices, I must admit, as you do go higher up the scale, get into the how much territory. I'll leave it for you to work out how much they are from the annotations on the video. Last two. These are both made from pretty old vines. I think that each of them has got like 80-year-old stuff in there, and I think what you're seeing is just like different parts of the vineyard. So this is Les Clans, and originally that's where the name Éclin, Desclins, Les Clans, and it gets morphed and it gets confused, and we all get a bit confused from time to time. Now the guy who's consulting winemaker for all these is a guy called Patrick Léon, who for quite a long time was in charge of winemaking at Mouton Rothschild, Clec, Mion, I think Almaviva, which is sort of the Rothschilds bit over in Chile, Opus One, those sorts of things. And so you'd almost expect a Bordeaux influence, but having had Puy Fouissé on the Desclins, now on the Les Clans, I get it. Yeah, there's this Burgundian feel that I get more of. There's like this toasty, nutty, what I call benevolent spent match character coming through. The character that you get in some top Meursaults from people like Lafont. And then there's this red fruit and white fruit richness behind. Again, the apple, but a bit more exotic things going on in here. Bit of pear, and then on the red fruit side, again, the berries and black currants. But there's almost as if there's some Alsace Riesling in there. There's this ever so slight petrol-y minerality too. Intriguing. One of those Rosé I don't usually think of as being profound wine, but this is a wine that I keep coming back to, smelling, and there's something more coming out each time. I would say that one more on the white wine side than the red wine side, but it's on a classy white wine side. It's almost like Rosé for white Burgundy fans, because it has got that sort of depth and that toasty edge from a bit of the oak, bit of the lees, but also this edge of spent match, minerality, lots of flavour, but certainly not the flavour you get in a typical, what I call kiss me quick rosé. Well, delicious. Let's see whether Big Brother, Garus. And the Garus vineyard, it's one of those, when you go to the great vineyards, you can't tell what it is, the difference between this vineyard and the other one that's 2 yards away, but you taste the wines and you can. Let's see whether you can with this one. So both these last two, 100% barrel fermentation, and I think then they get another 10 months in oak, which again, unusual for rosé. Now this is dumber. This, if the Les Clans was ever so slightly on that showy white Burgundy side, this is more on the restrained, minerally, I'm not coming out to play today at the moment. Almost rosé to decant. I've never decanted a rosé, just thought. Wow. Rich, profound. I think if I had my eyes shut, and I would have that as a top class white Burgundy. It is really on that lovely, nutty, seamless, really nice use of oak, where it's not oak flavour that it's all about what the oak has done to the wine. It's the French use the term élevage. It has educated the wine from being like I don't know whether it was ever a gawky youngster, but it feels like it's got softness, roundness, and something a bit profound. Still got this ever so slight edge of spice and that sandy character coming through on the finish. So maybe that's not so white Burgundy like, but I'm going to have another drink. Sorry, sip. I'm going to spit. I might spit this out. I might not. Oh, dearie me. One of the problems with having 4 wines like this is I can't drink all of them, and I have to give some away to somebody who probably. Well, I think they'll have a really good time, but I want them all for me. But I might sort of be very generous and give them the first 2 and keep the final 2 just to see how they evolve. Because I wouldn't be surprised if these are wines that that really go on and on for. I mean, you don't think of rosé as being a wine to age, although I have had a 30-year-old Cabernet d'Anjou, which was remarkably good. It's off dry as well, but. These feel like they've got their wines that, yes, I mean, at 5 years old, I think they'd still be singing. But how will they age beyond that? I don't know, and I don't think the guys here know, because they've not been making them in this style for that long. But very impressive range. with prices to boot, prices to match, it must be said, but hey, if the goal is to make the best rosé in the world, I can't think of anyone who's better. See you soon.